Hi, I'm Chula, and I'm here with Aniki and Supriya, my
Hello.
co-founders at Luminessence. We welcome you to Conversations and Stories. Conversations and Stories is not a podcast. For us, it's about storytelling, having conversations, and not following a particular format, but being in flow with the topic and with each other.
We're not
Okay.
here for answers, but to ask better questions and sit with them. Today, we're exploring the time capsule, a resource we have been working on as a part of our Roots and Seeds program. The time capsule represents a journey where we choose snapshots or elements of the present that we would like to dig out at a future time. This brings up a number of questions for us, which sets out or guides the intent of the activity with the resource.
As we created the resource, the question we asked ourselves was, why a time capsule? Which in turn raised a few more questions. Why am I reaching out to a future version of myself? Is it comfort, accountability, or a hope? Is it a nostalgia archive or a love letter to a possibility? What does the act of pulling this together symbolize? Is it about money, identity, or legacy? Things that we choose to put into the time capsule would be in response to the questions asked ourselves. Why a certain image? Why a specific object? What are we saying to the future version of ourselves?
Today, we are going to reflect on what if your body is a time capsule? What would you hold on to from today for a future version of you? I think each one of us probably would have something different would want to capture. So it would be quite cool for us to kind of see, even though we might know each other quite well, what it is that we are thinking of, what this might look like. So, Jula, did you have anything in particular that you were thinking that your body is? It has the roots of your past and seeds of your future. But if you were to capture something from today, which come from your roots, but are also, today being the roots of tomorrow, what are some of the things that you might consider that you would like to hold on to or capture, that you would like to share with a future version of yourself?
Okay, so to answer that, and with a very short time on reflection, I would say compassion
Nice.
and empathy that I've had as a child living in a joint family, which is a tradition in India.
Mm,
And thereafter, the profession that I follow today of a therapist. And so, into the future, where I want to reach out to the community, I think it sits well, it perfectly gels into every version of me. So,
mm.
yes, compassion and empathy is what I would
Mhm.
like to put into that time capsule and preserve it and keep for posterity.
When you were saying that, well, for me, because I was thinking about body as a time capsule, I was thinking your heart.
Yes, because that's, I think, where all of those feelings, the compassion comes from. Yes.
Mm.
So, yes, art,
Nice.
keep that how it is.
Nice. Very nice. And
Yeah.
Aniki, what
I
about
think
you?
one thing that came to my mind was a butterfly. And
Ooh,
Ah,
the butterfly, and I think we did a bit of work with the butterfly, and it's like being in this cocoon stage as I'm going
yeah.
through the different stages in my life, starting with incubation, going through, shedding, shielding, and then becoming. And when I was hearing what Chula was saying, the butterfly just flew over me. I felt it. And
mm,
that kind of came to me right away. And it was just so magical feeling
I
it.
love yes.
It was very
So,
unexpected because the question, before you even asked the question, I had something else in mind, but the butterfly just completely overtook me.
So it's
Mm,
not so much as something that's in you fully. It's both in you and outside of you.
mm,
Because when you're talking about the cocoon that sits outside of the
mm.
caterpillar,
Yep.
but yet what emerges from that cocoon is that shift that happens
Mm,
from caterpillar to butterfly.
yep.
So in many ways, what I'm hearing is that carrying that forward, that element of I'm being comfortable with change,
Mm,
being comfortable with being and becoming
mhm,
is kind of what you're kind of wanting to carry forward rather than a specific element of what that might look
mm.
like. Ooh, I like this. I love this.
Mm.
This is what has actually drawn us to do these conversations and stories.
I mean, it's so unexpected, right? Because I'm now sitting there with that vision of the butterflying, the being, the
Yeah.
becoming. And I like for me, it kind of feels like then my body isn't so much as a time capsule as much as it's a cocoon. So it's a mix of both now. Uh, you know, where you shed who you are, but you don't completely lose it because it's still such a key part of the journey, right? You
Mm.
don't become the butterfly without being the caterpillar or having the cocoon around you. So I kind of just feel if you're looking at that in the concept of our resource, but also what's just come up for us.
I think it's part of those conversations, right, as well. Like as we are talking about it, we started with the time capsule as a topic, and
Yeah.
based on those questions as well, so much is coming out, and the whole transformative aspect of it as well, as you said, like the essence is there, but the essence is there in so many different ways. And the time
Yeah.
capsule, yes, whilst I really like the concept, somehow I felt those little butterflies coming into the mix. And I
Mm.
think they're intertwined as you described, Supriya, in so many ways. So it's quite fascinating how we refine our own content
But
through
it's
these
also kind of,
conversations.
yeah, but it also takes us back to the fact that we started with those questions that you
Mm,
asked, which I think to some extent took you down that butterfly path.
mm.
So if we were looking at this resource, depending on how you answer those
Mm,
questions
Yeah.
or what comes up when you've kind of sat with those questions, because there's no right or wrong way, right? Like
mm,
Jula had a specific thing that she might want to carry through. You went in a completely different direction with the same questions. And I'm just sitting
mm,
here in that whole space that you all both have
mm,
taken me into. And I'm just feeling really open, really excited. Um, I mean, again, I think it goes back to what we were talking about. We don't seek answers because we almost don't care what those answers might be at this moment in time.
That's very true.
Yeah, it's almost like what does that being and becoming in this moment look like? And how do we create space for that? Through the work, through the resources, through our conversations. I
Mm,
love this. I absolutely love this. But again, if I were to just ask you to narrow it down, though, Aniki, one
mhm.
thing, just one thing, because it could be something that you utterly love about yourself now. Um, what would that one thing be?
That's a really good question, and I don't know if I can answer it.
Can I say something?
Well, of
I mean,
course you
I mean, it may not be something that you would, it may not be top of your mind, but because of the conversations we've had, and I don't know whether it's only true, it's true for you, it's true for Jula and you,
can.
or for all of us. But I think our voices and how we choose to use them, uh, in terms of what we've done with it in the past, what we're doing with it now, and the choices we are making in terms of how we use them, when we use them, I have a feeling that might be also something that we might want to carry into our future as well.
Mm. I do agree with you on this one, because I think for me, using my voice has always been quite sensitive topic for me, and in so many ways, both physically and emotionally. And we talked about this before, where words often, if the words come sometimes have no meaning if there is no context. We can talk about things and we can use bold words and big phrases, but if there is no essence in those words, then they become meaningless. But I found that essence in those words, in the context, and being able to craft and use my own voice has given me that power that's always been there. But the light inside of me was dimmed, and I think that light is now becoming bigger and bolder and brighter. And for me, that's where I feel like I'm able to use my voice, even though sometimes I struggle. But even in the midst of struggling using my voice, I still go back and try and keep trying. And it's not always easy. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it. But I want
Mm.
to step into those places and I want to be there, because I know that even if I say something that may not mean nothing to you, like I often really enjoy when I give Supriya or Jula a long sentence and I'm like, just frame it up now. I don't know what I meant by it. And it's quite fascinating that you can actually mirror back to me and say, well, hold on a moment. That actually makes sense. And we can use what you said. So
Mm.
that to me is something perhaps I can't do it, but I know that you too can do it very well.
And that's kind of the shared voice space that I was talking about. But Jula, did you also want to add something more? Because I know that's a big one for you as well.
Yes, it has been because I haven't quite had that kind of voice in the past. And
Mm.
then somewhere again, my work is more about mirroring other people's,
Mm,
reframing, rephrasing, not really my voice as such.
mm,
So
Mm.
yes, it is also a zone where I have had to sit with it, think about it, feel more confident in myself to put
Yeah.
out there. Yes, so it is a matter of um, sensitivity again. Like Anika said, it is for her.
mm,
It is the same for me, and there is hope. And
Always.
yes, because we spoke about hope and accountability, and like you were saying that it's goal-oriented accountability, and
mm,
hope is something more of what we'd wish for to achieve. So
Yeah.
yes, I take that accountability, work towards it now, so that it's something that I can speak of in the
mm,
future. Yeah.
Mm. Well, I've always used my voice, but I have for me now, it's more shifting towards how I use it or where I use it and when I use it,
mm,
rather than the fact that I have lost something and found it again. So it's probably being more intentional with it rather than, finding it for me would probably what I would mean. I mean, it's still again the same thing we're talking about, but it's if we are carrying it forward, how are we carrying it forward? What does that look like? Um, is kind of, I think we all are possibly sitting with it.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I think we could go on and on and on with these conversations. But in the interest of time, shall we leave this here today in terms of, what we're taking forward, what we're
Mhm.
wanting to do with it, and perhaps just leave some of our, viewers and fellow travelers with some questions.
Yes.
Um, so hand
So,
over to you, Jula.
yeah, sure. Thank you. We would like to leave you with a few questions that you could sit with and choose to carry forward. To begin with, am I picking up the best bits of the present or the truest? What if the capsule isn't about curating perfection, but honoring honesty? What stories, tokens, or truths deserve to travel with me, even if they are cracked, imperfect, or incomplete? We encourage you to reflect, journal, or simply hold these questions. So, To gently wrap up this session with gratitude and a poetic reflection, I may say, maybe the time capsule is less about what we preserve and more about what we witness. What about you, Aniki? What would you share?
Maybe every moment we meet ourselves in breath, in memory, in sensation, is just a small act of archiving that came to my mind.
Beautiful.
Mm.
Yes.
This time capsule is more than a collection. It's a reaching towards who you are becoming with full acknowledgement of who you've been. It kind of nicely circles back to your butterfly metaphor, Aniki. And to end with, thank you for being here with us today. Until next time, may you meet yourself with softness and curiosity. See ya.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.